What up, guys? I hope my camera is working this time. Camera is still not on. How do I, trying to see something, y'all, hold up. Trying to see when my camera is not working. There we go. Now we got our camera working. So, I had a serious conversation earlier about, how I'm not able to provide for anything. And, you know, trying to think before us.
Weaver, strike team arriving at the target coordinates. Waiting your orders. Find Max's and...
bring her home. Ravenov, my team's in position.
Haroshi. Soldiers of Requiem have arrived. Heed my warning. It is time
So-
to spill unclean blood.
I wanted to ask something much more than what I said earlier before I get back on stream. Or got off stream.
Captain,
So
I wish we were
I
talking
ran
under better
through-
circumstances.
I disagree.
I ran through what I was feeling, you know,
No better time for
of
Russians to
how
when they must persevere. Take the teleporter to the Omega base.
I
That is where you will find your
was put
Maxis.
through some serious consequences and mistakes.
Persevere
um,
enough for one day.
You know,
I will watch and
you
help
know, I wonder if
Go now. Find Maxis.
this is what God want me to do, to be punished for what I've done. You know, I go out every day when I get a chance to, like Walmart or, you know, over to my parents' house and see if they can, you know, kind of cheer me up and stuff. No. You know, this pain and all these actions I've caused in my family have just washed away. Like I'm saying this because I'm not lying. I have messed up so many times. I can't get my life back. You know, I started live because not only because of the gameplay that I give y'all, and I'm not really showing I care for the money, you know. You know, one day I'll reach affiliate and someday I won't. And that's something I have to live with. I really don't care about the money. It's just one day, you know, it's just gone. You don't find that love and happiness you felt before. And you know, I'm saying this because I am hurt, and I am also scared because, you know, all these women that's in the world now, they are nothing but hateful and unapologetic, you know, and I don't want to live that life. You know, I want to be happy with someone that's going to be like, hey, I'm ready to take the next step into having, you know, a future, having kids, and you know, I don't have a job right now, and I don't have my license or my permit, so I sit here in this house every day. I wake up and I do the same exact stuff, and it just hurts me because I can't help it nothing. I can't help my grandfather pay his bills when they're too high, and you know, it's just scary, you know. You know, one day I'm living here, then the next day they're just like, I don't know. But I do know one day that
It's about time you showed up. Wait, you're not Omega? Requiem?
um
Can't
that one day when you go to sleep,
Why you're here, but I'm not gonna just hand her
you have to
You turn the power on.
like think about
That fair payment for
what
one Agent Max.
potentially might happen.
We may be walking into
You
a
know,
trap here.
I live through that every day in my head, saying, am I going to wake up? Am I going to feel like I belong in this world? You know, I'm not saying that you should go to sleep and think about that, you know, especially with all these kids getting, you know, pushed around and their families getting depressed and, you know, can't find love. You know, I'm not that person that wants to run that with you, you know. But, you know, it's just like I'm broken. I do the same stuff every day, and the same goes for every other male and female. They wake up and they try to live their life the way they try to. And I know it's kind of scary for y'all, and I feel sorry for y'all. But times like these, you know you'll have to move on at some point. My I said last stream for like 28 minutes. My father just went to jail, and he might go to prison, and I don't want to see him go and experience, you know, several years behind bars. But at the same time, he's gotta get some help. He has abused my sisters, and he has abused his new wife. I don't want to like tell you my life story and bring you into my mess, cause I know how you feel. You went through the same exact stuff as I did, you know, having to wake up, you know, your parents fighting, your sisters or brothers trying to get them out of the mess, and then next thing you know, your mother or father slaps them in their face. It happened to me before, you know. I try every day to make sure everyone is happy, to give them what they need for them to be happy. My grandfather, for instance, when he gets home from work, he asks me, can I bring him a bottle of water? I get mad about that, because, you know, one day I'm not gonna be living here, and that's just something I don't want to experience on my own. You know, cause he's 50 years old. Okay. So say if I left, and you know, I get that one phone call saying, hey, your grandfather has passed, can you come and see your grandfather in the hospital or at the funeral? That is going to break me, because that is who I am living with right now. And I don't think for one moment that I can just live with myself. And my grandmother has raised me most of my life, you know. And I want to, you know, pay them back for helping me out. My uncle, he's helped me out. I only stayed at his house for like 2 weeks or so, then I left to come here. You know, it's just the consequences of being an adult now. You gotta live through all the emotions, you gotta live through all the pain again. You know, being without your mother, that's what's scary. And I think to myself every day, am I even worth it? Am I going to live with myself not being able to provide for them, not being able to help them? And I want to find love one day, you know, like everyone else does, and you know, have a child of my own and live through the mistakes and not carry that on my children. You know, I want them to live the best of their life the way they want to, and I understand that it will be hard
Beaver, there is
for
a weapon
everyone,
forge at my location.
but
It is now operational.
if that's the choice that I'm willing to make, and that's the choice, and I have to live with myself for that. You know, I want to be happy, and you know, one day I have found you can. What? Hold on, y'all. You know, one day
About that, you got the job done. Come by mission control.
I was living with my parents, right? I did my chores. I woke up for school. You know, I was really bad at school. I had to go to special ed classes because I didn't understand what they were teaching me. You know, everybody tried to push me into the better